textbook best in class. And today we're going to talk about due diligence. There's a saying from Henry Cloud that goes, diligence is not easy, but we cannot reach our goals without due diligence. One of the first lessons I learned is that due diligence is one of the most critical steps in buying a property. It involves an analysis of the property's 12-month statement, also known as T12 or trailing 12. It also includes analysis of the rent roll, the sub-market, the underwriting of the deal, and coming up with a business plan. Second, these are the basics of the due diligence: timing, the reports, and the best practices. Now, when I start the due diligence process, this is important when we start because the clock starts ticking then. Therefore, I need to start as soon as possible to give me the biggest window of time to find issues, get bids from contractors, make informed decision. Due diligence can be as little as 0 days and as long as 60 days. And it depends on how hot the market is, how bad do I want to beat the other competitors. Now, during the first 30 days, I can do almost everything I need. Now, there are other processes which takes longer, and this includes 30 to 60 plus days. They are property survey, environmental report, and the full title report. The longer time frame I can get, the more protected I am. Third lesson, property survey. It shows the property lines. This is not mandatory. However, property survey would identify issues with property lines, easements, zoning, ingress, which means the entrance, egress, which means the exit. And it is only a small cost to identify a potential problem down the road. Fourth lesson, environmental report. Environmental report identifies potential or existing contamination liabilities, and this is required by lenders. If they find something wrong during the initial report, also known as phase 1, then a phase 2 is warranted. Phase 2 is called the environment site assessment. The phase 2 is a direct test on underground materials to check for contamination, and they may also drill at the sites with recognized environmental conditions. This is known as RECs, recognized environmental conditions. And this is a lot costlier than phase 1. The survey, the environmental report, if my deal has to go to phase 2, a lot of times I would have to walk away from the deal due to the cost unless the seller is flexible. Fifth lesson is title report. The title report discloses the owner and the vesting interest in the property. It provides details of the liens, encroachment, easement. It reviews with my transactional, I have to review it with my transactional attorney so I understand the potential red flags. And I want these red flags clear up before I buy the property. Sixth lesson is the appraisal. Appraisals are done within 30 days. It's in-depth analysis which covers property and the market. Next, seventh lesson is the property condition assessment, also known as PSA. Property condition assessment is required by the insurance, the commercial mortgage-backed securities, and some portfolio lenders. The PCA, or property condition assessment, covers all major property system and the site improvement and the replacement reserve and the immediate repairs. The reports are lengthy, 1,000 pages and long. While the reports are being ordered, I will need to perform unit inspections. I would also need to perform lease audits, operations inspection, exterior inspection. And I have to make sure that I do these inspections with my property management team, my plumber, my electrician, my roofer, my general contractor, my pest control company, my heating and air conditioning company, and any contractors I need. If the property management does not do due diligence, then I hire a company to do it, because this is a big task. It is a big task, and I want a company who has done this a lot of time. I should ask for environmental survey, appraisal, utility bills, bank statements, real estate tax from the seller, insurance loss runs, updated financials, and updated rent rolls. These updated financials and updated rent rolls, I need to get this all, especially when I get to close to buying the deal. It is important to have consistent communication and transparency with the lender during the entire process to avoid major hiccups with the loan. 8th lesson, the process. This includes details and documents. The process includes inspecting the entrance, the parking lot, the curbs, the roof, the landscaping, the rain gutters and downspouts, the exterior stucco paint, electrical panel, light switches, power outlets, thermostats, HVAC, plumbing, fixtures, faucets, water heater, leaks, appliances, walls, ceilings, floors, doors, windows, stairs, steps, railings, porches, balconies, walkways, mold, and a lot more. I will also get a report from each third-party company I hire about these inspections. I may also need to go back to the seller based on the finding of the report and discuss a new price, and work with the lender regarding holdbacks. Now, I have to keep in mind, I can't go back to seller for the little things, especially in a seller's market. I can go back only on items that have not been disclosed prior to me accepting the offer. I also need to walk every unit. I need to be there for every inspection. I need to be wary if the seller does not let me see certain units. Who knows what he is hiding? Therefore, I need to demand to see all units. My goal in due diligence is to leave no stone unturned. I make sure that the third-party property management company makes a list of every unit with the unit number, the condition of every item, of every appliance in the unit. I need to be detailed per unit. I need to have pictures. Why? Because they come in handy when I'm doing rehab for initial reference. 9th lesson is the lease audits. I and the third property management need to do the lease audit. I want to be sure that my residents are qualified during the lease audit. Qualified means they are able to pay the rent. Sometimes property management places residents without monthly income. Monthly income, when we have rents, it should be more than 2.5% of the monthly rent. Keep the occupancy high during the sale. And this is why we have to check to do the lease audit, because the property management, they just place warm bodies without monthly income, getting to more than 2.5%. and we want more than 2.5 to make sure that our tenants are able to pay us. So more than 2.5% gives me the confidence that the tenant covers all their bills and their rent. I want to also know, when is each lease up? What is tenants currently paying in rent? And does it match in their lease? What are they charging for RUBS or ratio utility billing system? Are all leases signed? Do any tenants have criminal records? Are there special exceptions to the leases? Are there a large number of residents delinquent on the rent? Were there credit checks on potential tenants? Are there too many people living in any units? Are they charging month-to-month charges for expired leases? How many leases are month-to-month? Are security deposits collected, and how much? Are they charging? Are they charging late fees? Are they charging pet fees? 10th lesson, utility bills. I have to review to identify opportunities or red flags. I have to go back 2 to 3 years and not just 12 months to identify trends that have not been disclosed. Is the bill too high compared to the other properties that have the same number of units in the area? Is there more grass or landscaping to water? Could there be a water leak? I can do a utility and an energy audit to minimize energy through increased efficiencies. Going through utility bills is never exciting, but there's a lot of opportunity that can be found. For example, if I can save $500, $500 per month, and I multiply it by 12 months, that's $6,000 in savings. Now, if the cap rate is 6% at this particular given time, then I just created $100,000 of value. Just imagine, from 500, I created $100,000 of value. I want to confirm the utilities listed on the T12 match the bills. If they are not, then I need to adjust the underwriting to match the actual bills. 11th lesson are contracts. I need to review all contracts. Laundry, trash, exterminator, landscaper, Wi-Fi cables. No. When do the contract expire? Are there any hidden fees? Is canceling them even an option, or am I stuck until it expires? Did the seller get a one-time lump sum fee, and am I getting a prorate share? If I'm adding washers and dryers to the units, I need to check if the laundry contract allows it. Are there escalator fees in the contract? I can try to renegotiate the contract if I do not like, based on the leverage from another bidder. Does the property require licenses or permits? Check to see if they're updated. 12 lessons are based on comparables. Comparables are reports that we can get from Rentometer, CoStar, to name a few. The real estate is a hyper-local market. I have to look at apartments next door or down the street, which is similar to mine. Distance between similar properties will vary. Location, location, location. Comps will allow me to get a better sense of the area. What does the community look like? Is it thriving versus lots of rundown buildings? What do cars look like? What about traffic? 13th lesson is about reassessment. Does the property still make sense after reviewing all the income and the expenses? Do I need to build more bad debt or delinquency into the underwriting based on the lease audit finding? Are repairs more than I budgeted for? If things needs to be fixed, make sure I get multiple bids. It's always not about the lowest price. Does my lender require repairs that have not been accounted for? This is called IRL, or immediate repairs list. What happens? The lender holds back money until the items are fixed. And that is the IRL, immediate repairs list. Does my purchase of the property still make sense with updated underwriting? Has the deal changed that I need to go back to the seller for changing in price? The sellers want to work with brokers. However, sellers want to work with brokers with someone that will close and close without any issues. And sellers and brokers, they frown upon retrading. Now, there are times I must have the discussion if there are new information and the new information has changed the deal. It is tougher to get concession in a seller's market. But I have one advantage, and that is sellers are reluctant to start the selling process over again. If there's a seller's concession, I have to consider something that is not disclosed that can affect on my returns. So those are my lessons learned on today's topic on due diligence.